Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to a brand new episode of Friday Night WrestleCast. I am your host, Richard Billy Jr., and tonight I'm joined by Mr. Adam Vale. How's it going, Mr. Adam?
What's up, people? A lot of sad wrestling news, man. All these people passing away, and it's sad. It's sad.
Yes, absolutely. Um, we're also joined by Miss Dana Abercrombie. How's it going, Dana?
Hi, we're back. Yay.
Yes, we are back. Must apologize for the hiatus because there was quite a bit going on this summer. Busy schedules, so on and so forth, but we are back, and we are definitely back in time for Summerslam, which we will be talking about in length on next week's show. But tonight we have quite a bit of things to catch up on. So without further ado, I'm going to pass the mic over to Dana so she can tell us some news stories. So Adam, cue the music.
Oh my God, that happened? Yeah.
First off, we have some very sad news. We lost about 3-4 wrestlers all in the same day. Brian Christopher, you guys know it's been ruled that it was a possible suicide, that he died. Brickhouse Brown, he died at the age of 57. Johnny Valent, he died at the age of 71. And today, there was Brian Danovich. Brian Danovich was one of the contestants on WWE Tough Enough back in 2014. He died at a very young age, still in his 30s. So they didn't release what he died from. They didn't say it was suicide or drugs or just, cardiac arrest or whatever. They're still waiting on the autopsy report. So rest in peace to all of those people who died. It's been a very tragic, you can say, week, month. So rest in peace to them. Also, speaking about Brian Christopher, Jerry the King Lawler, you guys don't know that it's his son. He recently spoke about his son's death. Very sad during the Dinner with the King podcast. And he was very emotional, obviously, and he was tearing up, and it was very hard for him to get through this, but he felt that he had to speak on it, and he's still working, and he feels that, by him working constantly, it helps him with the pain, very similar to when JR lost his wife, and he was still working as well. He feels like it helps him to concentrate and to get on with life. He says that, without a doubt, it is the roughest thing that he's ever been through in his entire life. He lost his dad when he was 19, and then he lost his mom 7 years ago. He's lost his brothers 3 years ago. And anytime that you lose a family member, anybody out there knows it's very emotional and it's very tough. The old saying is that no parent should ever have to bury their child. And until something like this is experienced, you can never really wrap your head around it. You don't really know what it's like until it happens. I never dreamed in a million years. It was just devastating. Now, he reenacted the events that would happen during the night of Brian Christopher's passing. He says that the phone was ringing, and that there was a gentleman on the other line, and he was from the Hardman Count deputy sheriff, and he said that, Mr. Lawler, I just wanted to call you and tell you that your son, Brian, has hung himself at the jail. And when you hear something like that, he says that it's complete disbelief. He didn't believe anything that he was saying. It really didn't resonate with him at the time. He also said it is as if someone was actually telling him in the background that at first he didn't have a pulse, but now they got a pulse and they're trying to make sure that he's breathing on his own. It was giving him kind of conflicting statements while he was on the phone. So they was telling him that your son has died, but then they were saying, oh, we found a pulse. We're trying to resuscitate him, but then he dies. So it's a very confusing time that he said that he had. They said that Christopher was airlifted to the medics in Memphis, Tennessee, at the main trauma unit of the hospital. And when Jerry Lawler arrived at his son's side, he was informed that the situation was dire. He said that he knew the minute that he saw him, that basically all that was keeping him alive was the breathing machine. That's just something you never think you're going to see in your life, your son on his deathbed. The only way I could keep describing it is like a nightmare. I just kept thinking, this can't be real. This can't be happening. After some time passed, the entire trauma and neurology team entered the room and informed the family that Christopher was being kept alive primarily by machines. The neurology people said that his brainstem was still intact. Your brainstem is responsible for keeping your heart beating and keeping you breathing, but the rest of his brain had been deprived of oxygen for enough of a length of time to where there's no activity there. They didn't rule out a miracle, but they said that they've never seen anyone come back from the condition that Brian was in, and that, may have been time for him to, pass on, because the only thing that was keeping him alive, again, was just the breathing machines. So Christopher was administered medication that kept his blood pressure artificially elevated. And Lawler was informed that if the IV had stopped, his blood pressure would plummet and his heart would eventually stop. So Lawler then confided in Christopher's mother and to decide whether or not they was going to turn off the machine. And he said that they waited for a couple of hours, but Christopher's blood pressure began to fall on its own, and that he held his son's hand while he passed. So they didn't have to turn off the machine. He just naturally passed on his own. He says that the situation is tragic and that there are some things that went on in Brian when he was in jail. It was his third DUI in Tennessee. He says, I believe it's mandatory 90 days in jail. We spoke with the sheriff, and this is a crazy thing. He said, this is going to be the best thing for Brian. This needs to get straightened out. He needs to admit he needs some help. We're going to get him some help. We're going to get him into a rehab program from there. Jerry, my gel is going to be the best for Brian the next few weeks. So according to Lawler, the sheriff promised to personally keep an eye on Christopher and vowed to keep him safe. Lawler continued by, there is more than this than we can really talk about now. A couple of people have expressed, as I have, doubts as to whether Brian actually did commit suicide. Tennessee Bureau of Investigation is investigating what went on in the jail. I don't have any results yet, but I have my doubts as well. We've been contacted by inmates that were in jail with Brian and said that they don't believe what is told actually happened. We were contacted by another person who witnessed. Probably shouldn't say anymore because this investigation is going to be ongoing, and it may take a long time for this to get all sorted out. I don't want to believe that Brian committed suicide, but by the same token, if there was something else involved, we just really want to know what happened, because right now there's a lot of doubts and a lot of questions that are going to have to be answered in the next few months. So he parted, his last words during the interview was that if you have kids, tell them that you love them, because you never know how long you'll be with them. And, he wished that he could do more for Brian, but it is what happened. It is what it is. He has a lot of things that he regrets. And this is just the next step that he has to take with this. So very sad.
Yeah. I just want to say I didn't realize that all that had happened. So that does make it a lot more tragic now that I hear that whole explanation of that story. So yeah, that's not good. Definitely send my condolences to Jerry the King Lawler, and I hope that the family is able to get over this in time. But this is going to be very difficult.
Yeah, and then the fact that, there's like the investigation going on whether or not he was actually murdered, that's a whole nother thing in itself. So,
yeah,
it's tragic either way.
See, now it's crazy because he was in holding with others. I thought he was by himself.
That's what I thought too. I thought he was like, they send you in the jail so you can just basically dry out, because he was drunk. And from that, I thought he committed suicide. Like he hung himself in the jail cell by himself. He was unattended, but apparently it was the complete opposite. So now there's just a lot of questions.
Yeah, that's terrible. We'll see what happens with that. It's still a developing story, I guess.
Yeah. So we'll see. But the first non-WWE wrestling show at Madison Square Garden has sold out in a matter of minutes. Tickets for April's G1 Supercard, which was presented by Ring of Honor and New Japan Pro Wrestling, went on sale to the general public today at 10 a.m. And then all of a sudden, 19 minutes later, it was sold out. So yay them, yay to Cody Rhodes and the Young Bucks. People want this show. Remember, there was a lot of contention between WWE not wanting MSG to sell or like give them permission to have the show.
All In isn't there though, isn't it? Ring of Honor and New Japan.
Yes, Ring of Honor New Japan.
The All In is a different show though.
Oh, did I say All In? I'm sorry. Yeah. I meant the one Supercard.
Oh yeah, that's the one in April of next year or something.
Yeah, like that. April next year, April 2019.
Yeah.
And there was a question I would like to ask. So, how much more talent is WWE going to try to get to prevent them from competing on both All In and this G1 event?
You did say that because Triple H gave an interview basically saying that the WWE is interested in all talents from everywhere.
Uh-oh.
He didn't mention Ring of Honor by name. He didn't mention New Japan by name. But he basically said he is interested in all talent and that they will acquire as much talent as they want to. In, nice return.
Well, I mean, what else is he going to say? He can't say, oh, well, we have everybody that we want. I mean, that's the very political correct. Oh, well, look everywhere. That door is always open. We're always looking for new talent, So, I mean, I don't see them thinking that All In and all that. That's a threat. It's not a threat. The New Japan thing, that's a big deal because it's Madison Square Garden, and that's the only thing I could see there. But when it comes to the All In, that's just a show. You know what I mean? That's just an event. It's nothing crazy happening there. I don't even think there's any. I think there's only one title on the line, right? Isn't that the one that Cody But yeah, I think it's just a show. So I don't think they're too stressed about that. And I mean, we hear this all the time. Remember when Impact was gaining some steam with TV? Oh, they're gonna have to crush them because these guys come. And then they kept saying, no, we don't see them as a threat. And they were legit because they didn't pick up Samoa Joe then. They didn't pick up a lot of guys that they could have back then. They didn't even bother. So, yeah, I don't think it's a big deal. We'll have to see what happens with the Madison Square Garden. But remember, I see this whole thing with the Garden more as a big novelty because New Japan has never been in a main stage like that, an arena like that. A lot of people want to see that, see those guys in action. As opposed to just going to the Hammerstein, which is just like a block or two over. So
right.
We'll see. We'll see how it goes. The only threat is if it does. Well, it obviously sold out now, but if they say, "Hey, we want to do more shows," and next year, they start booking it like every other month, then you got some issues. Because then, yeah, that's the home. But the new home is the Barclays Center. So you can't really complain too much. It's like having, a girlfriend that you break up with and then she's dating somebody else and you getting jealous. I'm like, well you didn't want her. And that's the whole thing.
Does anybody really want their ex to do well in life?
Yeah, I did. Oh, man, go ahead. I mean, life goes on. It's like, life is short. It didn't work out with us. Go find somebody else. Make it, dreams come true. I don't give a shit.
It does go on. But, there's always an ounce of pettiness left into it,
Well, with that, there could be a lot because remember, there's a plaque for Vince McMahon there. Right. When you walk in, you see that plaque there. So, I mean, he could get very bitter, but it's a bitter that goes both ways. One, Viacom raised the rent after they did the redesign. And Barclays said, hey, you could do your shows here at the same price you were paying. So, of course, it's all about making money because who really gets affected when they raise these prices? The people. The tickets go up and then next, pay-per-views and all that other stuff. So, I agree with WWE. Hey, keep things the same and then just move it over. And if Viacom and the whole thing with MSG, if they really cared about WWE, they wouldn't have jacked up the price on them. Jack up on everybody else, but come on now. Madison Square Garden, that they put you on the map. Yeah, I had boxing, but it was mainly wrestling. Bruno Sammartino. That was the whole thing. That was a consistent sellout. Boxing, you have every big event here and there, but wrestling, that was it. That and the circus, and we know they're not getting the circus anymore because that's done. So,
Yeah.
and even before that, I remember Ringling Brothers couldn't even afford to go there. They were going elsewhere. So, it's one of those things. Again, like what I said off air about things changing in life and New York not being the same place. There you go. I remember before, if there was a wrestling event, it's like, and maybe it's the same for house shows, but at least it's not for the Garden. I'm like, oh, I'm gonna go over there. $25? Yeah, why not? Well, they're not in the Garden anymore. Now you gotta go to Brooklyn. Those days are over.
Brooklyn is still decent.
It is. It's just that area it's a pain in the ass to get to, Atlantic Avenue and doing all that. So it's very congested there. I mean, Madison Square Garden is also congested, but that area, 34th Herald Square and stuff. But I don't know. It's just nostalgia for me. I grew up as a kid going to that theater. It's like, oh, the arena and even inside, everything looks different. Have you been inside with the redesign?
Oh God, yes. I was stuck there during Comic-Con.
Oh yeah, everything is small. The hallways are really small. The seats are all like squished together. It's like, it's just it looks nice with the lighting, but besides that, it's just everything's crammed in. It turned into a New York City apartment.
Feels like it's just weird. Yeah, it's. I understand what you're saying in that regard, but also, people are very concerned that because of all of this poaching that's going around, Cody Rhodes, well, obviously he's not going back, but there's like maybe he might. Well, definitely Kenny Omega and the Young Bucks might get poached. So the interview that was done with the Ring of Honor general manager Greg Gillett about this, he basically said that they're our top guys. We're going to do everything humanly possible to keep them with us. We have fair offers and fair plans to retain them. With that said, I don't think we ever operate in fear. We always operate with a solid backup plan, and we have to always think about what if this, what if that. If they do go to WWE, and they very much deserve that opportunity, we'll continue to offer the best wrestling that we can. There's other talents out there, and we will continue as our brand for the past few years to give you the best and the top talent. And they've lost top guys before, so this will basically not make or break them. So,
well,
if anyone wondering,
I remember a while ago when the same type of thing came up, and I forgot which site, if it was Meltzer or one of those sites, had broken down the numbers, and like it would be cheaper for WWE to buy the promotion than to just buy these contracts outright. They could just buy the whole damn thing. And remember, for a while there was talks of Ring of Honor going to get having their back catalog that was going to be on the network.
Yeah.
But eventually they wound up doing their own network. But they got, that's the thing. We're talking about wrestling promotion. Before we just said they got billions of dollars now due to these TV deals. They got money for days. If they really want you, like $1 Million Man said, everybody has a price. You could do the indie and do that stuff all you want, but when you start seeing more zeros on your check, that's what really talks. So a guy could say, "Yeah, I'm doing it for the fans, and I'm doing this and that." It's like, well, they're gonna give you, 6-7 figure deal. Oh, you know what? My fans will follow me wherever I go, and this is where I'm going. Because eventually, when you're getting toward the end of your career, or based on injuries or other things, you want those big paydays. That's it. That the people were like, why did Shinsuke Lee want? Well, he wanted a WrestleMania moment, and he wants those big paychecks, and that's what he's getting. He's getting those big paychecks. A lot of guys want that. And if anyone says they different, then they're lying, because there's only so much you can give the fans until you're like, you know what? I did all this, and I had this bloody match, and I only got about $500-600. Now, if I signed with these guys, I'm making that more than per night, and I wouldn't even have to do any of this. Probably do a 5-minute match as opposed to a half hour, 45-minute match. And some people are like, oh, it's selling out. You know what? everybody wants to make money, for the future. Everybody has families. We hear with music all the time, oh, they sold out. They grow and they're trying to get that big radio hit so they can ride off in the sunset. Can't hate them for it. It's part of life. So I think if they want them, they can get them. They don't want them right now. So that's it. Well, remember? Oh, do you remember? I think there was only one time where there was a big money deal got turned down, and that was in UFC. What was it? Mark Goldberg? I think I want to say it's Goldberg. He was the announcer with Joe Rogan. Do you remember him?
Yes,
oh yeah.
Do you remember? So do you remember when UFC wound up getting all the I guess I don't know, the big promotions and stuff on Spike TV, and WWE was bitter about that whole thing with the UFC, so they were like, you know what, we're gonna poach, and they went after him, and they offered him huge money. They were like this. It was like some, and purposely, and they talked. I remember there was an interview with that guy, the announcer, and he said he knew instantly that it wasn't even about his skills. It was just to hurt the UFC, and so he turned it down. He said, and it was a ridiculous amount of money, and that's why he knew it wasn't about him. It was about just hurting what they saw as their competition. So that's what I'm saying. If they really want to hurt, they can do it. They can. They have the bankroll. They can make dreams happen. So I don't buy any of that when people are like, oh well, they're gonna try to poke. There's no such thing. They can just go and get them. They can just go get it.
Yeah, but at the same time, not everyone's gonna say yes. So,
well, the price isn't right. The price isn't right. People could say, that's what I'm saying. We don't know the money they're offering me. They may say, we'll give you this type of deal. Who was it? Was it James? Well, look at some of these deals that we hear that they give these guys to the NXT. I think we talked about it where they're like starting at 20, 30,000. And some of these guys are big names. They were big name elsewhere, but it's all with the promise. It's like, hey, you were a big name there. Prove that you could be a big name here, and we will throw you in a main stage. You're gonna get all that merchandising check. You're gonna get this, gonna get that. It's gonna come, but this is what we're bringing you in at this base value. A lot of guys turn that down. We saw James Storm walk away, and then other people like, nah, I don't want to deal with that. I can make more money else, and I think I'm bigger than that. Okay, but you just gotta see the big picture of what they're going with this. And for some people, it's paid off. Kevin Owens, remember that time he was going against Roman, and I think there was that audio clip that somebody was like saying you're fat and ugly, and he says, "I just made $23,000 on a royalty check." Remember that? Like, you could hear it on the audio, and he screamed at. I mean, that's crazy. That's crazy money. So it's you just gotta have faith and go with it. And there's a lot of guys that didn't want that. They want just to come in as the big stars that they are in the indies. They were like, yeah, I just want to be this. But think of the big picture. Think of the DVD sets and stuff. Think of all the amazing matches a lot of these guys have had in NXT. Look at Adam Cole. I don't think Adam Cole was ever considered like the big face for Ring of Honor or the Young Bucks, but they gave him his push and he's rolling with it. I'm sure he's getting a bonus with the merchandising for Undisputed, gear. And if that continues on, and that group continues on, if this Bobby Fish gets better once he does, and there you go. You got your own little faction like the Young Bucks selling more gear, and then he gets moved up to the main stage, and hopefully he doesn't end up like Sanity and things work out.
Oh no, no. As soon as he gets to that main roster, all hell will break loose, and including your boy Aleister Black. That's what I'm
saying. That's money right there. That is like a pot of gold. Once Aleister Black gets to the main stage, I could see the first day that he does that coffin rise up thing with the smoke, and people just run to the back to go buy some T-shirts. Like, oh, I need to go get this.
Yeah, but that right there will be the irony of the gimmick, because Vince will be burying him in every single match as soon as he gets to that main roster.
Usually I would agree with you with that when it comes to these NXT guys, but he's got something that a lot of the guys don't have. He's a big dude.
He's a big guy.
He's big. He's a big guy, and Vince likes a big guy. Look at Corbin. Baron Corbin did pretty much nothing over there in NXT.
But wait a second, Corbin is getting schooled right now by Reigns on Raw.
But he's still on TV. He still had a new gimmick. He's the constable. You know what I mean? They basically have him replacing Kane as corporate Kane.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So they put him up there, and he's nowhere near as good as Kane is on the mic. But they have faith in him. Or look at Elias. Elias didn't do anything in NXT. He was pretty much just jobbing out, and even his last match was like a loser leaves, remember? He never got that title. But yet, the next week, he shows up on Raw, on the main show, and he gets TV time to play his guitar.
Yeah.
I'm still not over with that. Every time I DVR and that part comes up, I just fast forward. I could care less what he has to say or sing.
And,
but he had special on the network.
Then there you go. That could stay on the network. I don't want to see that. I don't care.
Well, hold on a second, Adam. I can't think of one reason why you will care is because it's looking like he's going to have a match against Bobby Lashley at SummerSlam. So there you go.
Bobby Lashley has to look strong. Bobby Lashley going to finish him. I'm going to keep backing Bobby Lashley. Bobby Lashley's going to get that push. Sooner or later, he's going to get the big man push, and he will get that title. He has to.
Oh, he will.
He will. Right on the unemployment line.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was going to say. He's going to get pushed out the door again.
That was I don't know if you guys saw. There was a tweet that Edge sent out and made the rounds because it was on point. About Bobby Lashley. He was like, Bobby has a physique, Bobby has the skills, but Bobby doesn't. He doesn't come off as a mean guy. Like, he doesn't come off angry. And it's true. When they were doing that weird face-off battle of words with Roman, remember? And Roman was like, you went to MMA, you didn't do anything. I'm like, yo, you're about to get jobbed out in a battle off with a guy who can't even talk on the mic. Come on, say something. But he still has that smile. It's like he's just so nice that I think even if they try to write lines for him, it's hard for him to deliver them with like that impact of like, I'm going to break you. You don't get that vibe from him.
See, that I agree 100% with. He's not nice. I mean, he's nice. He can't really play a heel, apparently, the way that they present him anyway. And of course, the big thing, he's not Roman Reigns. So therefore, Vince is like, I don't care about this guy. Just have him make Reigns look good, and that's it for the time being until they prove otherwise.
So we'll have to see, but I feel like they put too much time. There's money involved, and I don't know. I know it's a multi-year deal, but I don't know what else is in. They have to have something in store for him.
Oh yeah, something.
Something is going to be in store for him, and they need to do something leading up to this SummerSlam because right now this card looks whack. This looks like a horrible SummerSlam.
Well, yeah, I agree with that 100%. We're definitely going to be talking about SummerSlam.
We'll get Hogan. Yay, racism.
We'll say what? Hulk Hogan. What about Hulk Hogan?
Hogan's coming back on SummerSlam. He's coming back.
Oh, he is?
No.
My heart and in my soul.
Yeah, I think Titus and New Day, they all will walk out if he shows up there in just randomly. They're like, wait, hold on, what is this?
Our truth will win him.
I don't know. I feel like if they bring him back for something, they have to bring him back at a house show or something just to get the reaction. Hear how the crowd react. Are they going to chant racist or something? You know what I mean? Do you want that on live TV? Do you really? Do a tester. Just like they do feelers with matches with guys to see if they have chemistry. What was it? The most recent was Matt Hardy and Bray Wyatt. They were on the road wrestling house shows for at least a month and a half before they actually started having their feud on TV. So do the same thing. Have them pop up at certain locations at a house show just to hear the reaction. Because the last thing you want is to bring them out on TV in a very vocal market like New York.
Yep.
And they will be vocal. They will call him out if he's a racist. They will go off on him because we're going to hear it during the Roman match.
Oh, absolutely! I can't wait for that.
Because this reminds me of, and those who remember this, when Goldberg and Brock Remember when they were both leaving and they had that match? People ripped both of them. No one cared. I think it was Roman who flipped. No, not Roman. I think it was Brock that flipped off the fans at the end. It was something. It was horrible because people knew they were both leaving. And yeah, Roman's not leaving, but he might as well leave because nobody wants this. Nobody wants him as champ. Only Vince wants him as champ. So we already know Brock has to go do his UFC thing, and everything is pointing that it's a Roman title win. No one wants to see that. There's so many other good.
But yet Brock is also scheduled for the Raw after SummerSlam. So I don't know what is the plan with that.
This could be something, and I saw some rumors on this, and they were like, this doesn't happen. But we just saw something like this with Asuka. What if he wins, and then he just gives up the title and says, hey, when I'm done with my other obligations, I'll be back for it. So he basically retires champion. And yeah, you laugh, and I sort of chuckled too. I'm like, that's not happening. And then a little light bulb went off in my head. I'm like, wait a minute. But he's not going to any other promotion. No one could afford him. He's not one of these guys that says, oh, yeah, I'll be back, and then pops up on TNA or something. You know what I mean? So it's not happening that way. So technically this could work if he says, hey, here. So he goes out looking strong. He goes into his UFC thing, because that's the other thing. We don't know. I forgot who they're trying to set him up. I think it was
Cormier.
It's Cormier, right?
Yeah.
Cormier's good on the mic. Cormier could easily get into pro wrestling, So I could easily see him like, oh, well, he just lost his title in WWE, so now he think he can come over here and get one in UFC. He could easily slip that in to their back and forth for the build-up for the fight. So maybe they won't do that, and they'll have him win, and then the next night gives it up. Or they do a reverse. But then, honestly, the way I see it, I think that Paulie is going to do some kind of interference and cost him the match, and will pair up with Roman because of the way they have been portraying it on TV. It's like, hey, once he's gone, you're gone.
Yeah. Well, it's funny you say that. We definitely got to get into that in a little bit, because there was a bit of an update on that on Raw. But let's. There are a few other topics that I know Dana wanted to bring up as far as news. I think we should address that before we get into the other stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, really quickly. It looks like Matt Hardy is going to be retiring. Those who don't know, very unfortunate. His lower back and pelvis has started to fuse together.
Matt Hardy or Jeff Hardy?
Matt. Broken Matt Hardy.
Holy crap.
In a tweet posted over the weekend, he stated, "Woken wisdom. Don't approach the final chapter of a book with sadness. Approach it with an appreciation for the enjoyment you've obtained from it, as well as the excitement that comes from beginning a new, different book." Now, his lower back and his pelvis has started to fuse together, which, will kind of prevent you from wrestling. According to the Wrestling Observer newsletter, he is in pain, but it's not the terrible kind of pain where it's like insufferable and you can't move. However, the pain is causing a lot of frustration for him. For the meantime, he's going to start training new rehab. So if that helps, he'll be okay. However, if it does not, he may need to take some time off. If it still does not heal itself, then he will have to retire. He stated that he just wants to keep his body intact so he can just play with his kids. What happened also is that they're going to start making his schedule a little bit lighter so he won't get paralyzed and, have a bigger incident in the ring. He is going to change around his schedule. They don't know when, but WWE said that they will, ease it for him so that he doesn't have any more of these issues that flare up. Rey Mysterio, for example, they were saying that he is in talks to return, and he's going to be in limited house shows as well in order to, like a swap, so that when Matt Hardy leaves, Rey Mysterio will come in and fill that void.
Man.
Yeah.
Well,
And
so
also, Daniel Bryan is going on a much limited schedule as well. Nia Jax, they said they gave her time off so that her body can rest. And as well for Jeff Hardy, guys already know he's taking time off as well because he's just a lot of injuries that's plaguing him.
well, so he still has that match at SummerSlam. I'm guessing.
He's having the match, but he's not going to go. It's not, full out with some chairs, and he's going to be on, the ladders and doing swanton bombs and all these different other things.
Yeah.
Generic match.
Yeah, because I know they're building this whole thing with his feud with Randy Orton, and I was like, Randy Orton is now a heel. In case you missed it, Adam. So I guess
I saw some of that. They came back and he did the whole thing. But that's another one. It's like whatever. But yeah, I'm just tired of it. But he needs something, a gimmick changer. He needs something to go on with the whole thing. The voices in his head need to send him in a new direction. But yeah, but it's sad, man. That was sad. I didn't hear about that. That is sad.
So my assumption is that with Matt Hardy, I'm guessing they're going to break up him and Bray Wyatt soon. Then, if that's the case, because you're not going to have Bray Wyatt on a limited schedule. Also,
he can go into the reincarnation and never come back, and Bray Wyatt's like, "Oh my God, where is he?" And then Rey Mysterio can take his place. I don't know.
You know what? This sort of maybe they can go with this. All right. So I don't know if again, this is some more throwback. So remember when Raven wound up getting sick over in WCW, where he started gaining all that weight and he had some issue where.
Yeah.
Right. So, but he wasn't wrestling, but he still had the Ravens flock. So he was a mouthpiece, and he had them come down, and he was familiar with that when he was doing the Johnny Polo thing in WWE. They can do something like that. I mean, he could still have his crazy group, and he can be the mouthpiece and do that whole thing if worse comes to worse. I hope he just doesn't disappear from wrestling. Like, hey, I can't do this no more. Peace.
I mean, but he's saying that it's very tight in his body. So wouldn't that also just affect simple walking?
It depends. It depends. I mean, when you see him, and I brought this up on a show before, I think when he came back, and even when he was in TNA for a while, he gets up differently from when he takes a bump or when he's doing anything. You see, he uses his arms. He doesn't really bend his lower back or his legs or anything. It's weird. It's like he uses his arms to get up.
Right.
You ever notice that?
Mm-hmm.
Like when you watch him get up, it's weird. But I was like, he has to be in some form of pain or something's going on. But this again just shows that some of the things that they talk about, oh, well, we had this guy come in, we did a physical, and he's good to go. That's a lot of BS because these things just don't automatically appear. He's had these issues.
Mm-hmm. I remember. Sorry.
No, I remember Jeff Hardy a few years back took that horrible bump. I mean, he did on purpose in TNA where he did the swanton onto the step.
Ugh.
Remember that?
Yeah.
I'm like, why are you doing this? Yeah, that became a highlight reel because it looked like he broke his back.
Hey, so he wanted to do it for the fans, so that's what happened.
Oh, we didn't need to see that.
What is that? You can die.
Yeah.
Remember, they've been doing this since they were kids. The fact that they're in their 40s and they can still walk is a miracle itself.
Oh yeah, well that will be coming to an end soon, so enjoy it while it lasts.
I just hope everything works out, especially for Jeff, because remember, Jeff is having that issue again with the whole drugs and drinking and stuff. So.
Yeah, that's gotta be careful with that stuff.
Well, it's probably just like what we see with rock stars and stuff. It's just you just brought it up. Their bodies are falling apart, and that part of their life is coming to an end. They see it, and it's like, shit. What do I do now? Then what happens when it does end? And you go through it like a depression, and it's very ironic with the whole thing because they do that special, and it talks about, well, we fixed everything up once we started working together and spending more time together. Well, the show just broke you guys apart. One is on Raw, the other one's on SmackDown. You have two different tour schedules. So I mean, if you go based off of what you just said, then those issues are gonna reoccur. He doesn't have the support. Jeff doesn't have the support of Matt being there for him. because now they're traveling, and yeah, I'm sure they have friends backstage that could watch over, but it's nothing really like family. I mean, I don't know who else they're close with back there, but it's tough. So, it's sad. It's just sad to hear all that. But they've, if you think way back with all of this, and I remember it was with JR, he said, these guys are doing a lot of crazy stuff, especially with Jeff with the Swanson. He's like, you can't keep this up. Your career cannot take these many bumps. You're going to retire early. And if you think about it, pretty much everyone that's had those type of careers, like we saw Edge and Christian, that came to an end. You see these guys doing it, came to an end. Some people would add the Dudleys in there. I wasn't sure too much if they were that old, but yeah. So I guess you're right. If you start taking those crazy bumps, your bump card fills up quick, and then you check out.
That is true. So sad. It's very, very sad.
They need that lucha mat. When you watch Lucha Underground, you notice how everybody's so bouncy? It's almost like a trampoline. Like I feel like every time they throw somebody, it's like they could be 100 pounds and they still like bounce up almost on their feet. I'm like,
it works for lucha because they're still theatrical. WWE has abandoned all of their theatrics. So I just wonder if that mat would how the fans would react with that, because it's very bouncy.
It is. It's very bouncy. But I know from at least just from an interview I heard with Rob Van Dam a long time ago when he first signed him. He said, "What's the big difference?" He said, "It was that ring." He said the ropes, the material. I forgot what they use in there. If it's not the steel or maybe it's rope or something, but it just didn't have that much bounce on it, and it's longer, it's wider, so it's like it ruined almost all his timing for his Rolling Thunder and all his other stuff, because he was like, it's a bigger ring and it's a little more stiff. Yeah, so.
Yes, really unfortunate for everything.
What's his Tozawa from 205? You've seen his finisher, right? Where he does that, like, it's like a bonsai drop back flat onto the mat. He goes super high too. I'm like, that must take a toll on his back. You know what I'm talking about when he does that move where he grabs his knees and he just throws himself in the air and he just flat backs. And it looks like he's landing on the guy, but most of it's on his lower back. So you're basically just jumping up really high and landing on your back on the mat. That has to hurt.
This is terrible. Yes, everyone needs to calm down with the high flying stuff.
Yeah, party's coming to an end.
Yeah, and they're what, 40? So it's terrible.
Yeah. It's but I don't know, because remember when we lost the cruiserweight title, well, the cruiserweight division, way before, when we had was it Evan Bourne and all that stuff, and it was because Vince said that they were getting hurt all the time. It was like, oh, we can't have these guys when they getting hurt all the time, stuff. And then, but now it's come back because that's really what people want to see. They want to see these guys have fun, and even though you may not want to see it, there's still a whole group of wrestlers that's their style. That's what they do. Those crazy high flies. We've seen a few mishaps. I still get nervous every time I see somebody go for an outside dive, like a missile dive, especially between the ropes, because I'm like, all it takes is for your foot to hook on to the rope, and you're going face down. And we saw that with Sasha.
Or to just go the wrong way and
go the wrong way, or you overshoot. I've seen that a few times, depending on the layout too of the arena, and the ramp goes too far down. There's a few times where I've seen Finn Balor when he does his thing over the top, and you'll see some of his back actually hit that steel, the step, the ramp way, because it's just there's not much space.
And that's how Lita broke her neck also.
Oh, man. Shit.
Yeah, we had Trish. That was terrible. Her neck just collapsed on its side. It was just awful. But yeah, I don't know. It's just be careful.
That's sad news. You just told me some sad news.
I'm sorry. Yeah. So, maybe happier news. Yay. In Australia, remember we're getting the WWE Super Showdown? the big match event that's happening on October 6th in Melbourne. Well, we already know that it's going to be Undertaker versus Triple H and what's being promoted as their last encounter. I don't know if that means they're both retiring or just their feud is ending.
Last encounter in Australia, but don't. That's what they're going to do.
But they also announced today that John Cena will face Kevin Owens. Yay, excitement. No one cares.
Thumbs down.
It's just a way to throw all the big names on a card. That's all.
They're trying to do the greatest Royal Rumble, spirit in Australia. So they're throwing everyone at us right now. So, yay. Also, another one on the injured list. This one is a really sad one that's just, fate is just really, really been terrible to Tegan Nox. So, Tegan Nox was wrestling at the Mae Young Classics in 2017, right? She ended up suffering an injury where she basically tore her ACL. It was a really weird freak injury, and she was out. She came back this year, real strong, 2018, Mae Young Classics, right? She's wrestling, everything's going well. The weirdest, freakiest accident happened again, and she tore her ACL, but on the other leg. So
you know what that means?
She's done.
No, that's
accident prone.
So that means she'll be back at the 2019 Mae Young Classic, and because third time's the charm.
Oh gosh,
too many injuries, and they don't want you. That just like I said before with Evan Bourne, he kept getting hurt to the point that they not only got rid of him, they got rid of the whole damn division. Like forget it, and that's sad. That's tough.
But here's the Triple H is really distraught over this. The thing is, she was supposed to, remember, wrestling is kind of scripted. She was supposed to make it. Not be the winner, but be, proceed and maybe be talks of in the finals. This just threw everything out the door. So now creative has to come up with something else. Because she's gone.
That started up again, right? They're airing that?
Yes, they're airing that. Okay. Well, it's going to be aired. Well, no, it's aired. It's already happening, obviously, but it's going to air on the network in September 5th.
There you go. September.
Oh, it's airing now. So spoiler alert, she gets injured. I don't know whether or not they'll show it because it was like a really weird freak thing. Remember when Cesaro got an injury with his teeth and he like bashed it in his skull and no one knew what was happening? It's kind of like the same effect with her. It was so quick and so freakish that she just dropped and started screaming. And even the referee was like, what's going on? But you knew something was wrong because remember they do the signal with the X. And that means like really injured.
Well, it's still early. There's plenty of other people they can pick up. They could pick up somebody else to bring in. Pick up Eva Lise, bring her back. She's doing all right in Lucha Underground, and she was there for their Tough Enough stuff.
Yeah, they could do that. But so if you're interested in seeing it on the network and not YouTube or being spoiled, it is on September 5th on the WWE Network for just $9.99. But yeah, it's really sad what happened with her. And we'll see what happens next year. But Triple H he's very upset, and it's very heartbreaking for her because that was one of Triple H's girls. And but she tried to land. She, again, as we were talking about doing things in the air, she jumped up on the top rope. She tried to land, but she landed funky on a dive, and that's when everything just snapped. And they don't know the severity of it yet. She was rushed to the hospital, and, she had the ACL did tear. They don't know how long it's going to be. But they did say that when the doctor looked at it, that it was so painful at the point that he couldn't manipulate the disc to even see if it was ACL at first. So it was really bad. just awful. But it happens. We get a lot of freak accidents.
I'm sorry.
Yeah. That was unfortunate. But also, we have another injury. Jason Jordan, remember him?
Oh,
Angle's
this
son.
is the worst.
Sharmell sex years ago. Remember that one? That storyline? Anyone?
Yeah.
Like, I want free sex with your wife. But anyway, Jason Jordan, those who don't know, earlier this year, he suffered a neck injury. He went into surgery on May 5th. And he was like, oh, he'll be back sometime in 2018. Apparently, he will not be back at all in 2018. He's not retired, but it may look more like 2019, maybe around the WrestleMania time of 2019, because they said that his injury is more severe than what they originally thought. He was cleared back in July. They did some more testing and was like, no, you can't go anywhere. So what happened is that he has been doing neurosomatic therapy, and he also has an infrared sauna installed in his home in order to help with the healing process. So those who are wondering where our boy Wonder is, he's at home in his sauna.
Sad.
I just want to say this. It is unfortunate, but you know, if he's injured, yeah, he needs to take as much time as is necessary to heal. But when he returns, they just need to bring back American Alpha, because I don't really think they have anything for him. Even when he was doing single stuff, wasn't really going anywhere. So I hope when he comes back, just align him back with Gable and bring back American Alpha.
See, I want the continuation of the Booker T. Sharmell Angles.
No.
After Sharmell,
Yeah.
But do you see this pattern? Do you see this pattern, at least with what we were saying with all the other guys? Like, these are people that are constantly on TV. Now, here it is. Here's a promotion that has like every talent you possibly want, minus just a handful. Yeah, it's the same ones that we're seeing week in and week out, just oversaturated, doing so much in the ring.
Yeah.
And they're getting hurt.
Mhm.
They're getting hurt. We don't need to see all of this. You know, there's so many other guys in the back that could be holding up these matches.
I agree. They need to, figure something out. And remember, we also still have Charlotte's out because she busted her boobs.
Oh, well, she's back now.
Oh, she's back now.
Yeah.
That's she's
that.
now.
That happened before with Sable. Remember, Sable had a boob pop.
Oh, whoa, ooh. Man, yeah. Sounds graphic.
It was.
So much visualizations. Oh gosh. But in non-injury news, Renee Young has just made history. She will fill in for Jonathan Coachman as guest commentator on Raw on Monday. She will make history as the first woman to call an entire episode of the show. She will sit alongside Michael Cole and Corey Graves during the 3+ hour program. And she's very excited, and she didn't even know that she was making history. So yay, Renee, and yay for women.
I just want to ask a quick question before you go to the next topic. Is it possible for her to replace Coachman altogether and for them to get rid of Michael Cole and send him somewhere else?
Well, see, the thing with Jonathan, because they was like, oh, why are you still doing this? He gave an interview with Sports Illustrated that basically he is responsible for getting that Fox deal with WWE.
Which one? Who?
The SmackDown deal.
Wait, who is responsible
Coachman.
for what?
Coachman.
Jonathan Coachman said he was responsible.
Coachman. Oh, what?
He says this is his words. He says that he was responsible for it. And I guess as a thank you, he is not going to be fired or replaced anytime soon. But they're able to give him time off. So they're working with his flexibility. So he's not going anywhere. Yay. Black man employed.
Yes.
So those who don't know, Hogan, as we talked about before, he was reinstated after 3 years for the WWE Hall of Fame after basically going on an N-word rant, called everybody an N-word. Remember, we went through that. Brooke Hogan's producer and The Rock, and he talked about everybody in the WWE who was black. He couldn't stand The Rock's father and working with him. He's very descriptive about that. Anyway, he has been seen hanging around WWE shows, and that he was last spotted at the Amway Center in Orlando, Florida. He posed for pictures with wrestling trainees, and everyone was really excited, or at least they pretended to be excited, and that he's saying that, there's no word at all if he's coming back. WWE is not saying anything. He's not saying anything. But those who don't know and follow his Twitter account, some strange reason I'm blocked. He blocked me on Twitter. But anyway, on his Twitter account, he is trying to start a NWO reunion pay-per-view show. So good luck with that.
Good luck indeed. That's all I have to say for Hogan right now. Because Hogan doesn't know best. Yes, there you go.
I don't know where they, like I said before, I don't know where they go with this. I don't know.
Nowhere. They go nowhere.
So
it could really backlash on them.
It could, but they released photos. And this looks like it's something that he really wants to do. He's been teasing it on social media for a while now. He had like these NWO cut style videos that he posted on wrestling.inc. They basically had photos of him.
None of those guys can wrestle.
Well, Click, or as I refer to as Kevin Nash, Click says that he's going to be there. So he'll probably get as far as the ring and then collapse and tear his ACL or something.
Yeah, he's not going to be able to work in a ring. I mean, that's not happening.
But he was spotted on the beach. He's wearing his NWO shirt. He's happy. He got his dye in his hair. He got the black bandana on. He got that weird black. The beard is black, but the mustache is white. Because the black and white NWO. So, Scott Hall. You know what? I will say this. Blessed be. Scott Hall is still alive. He's looking really good in his NWO photos. If this is something that Scott Hall can do, because you remember he's been relapsing. So if this is something for Scott Hall can do and he stays sober, I'm all for it. I'm not going to watch it, but more power to him.
Well, my guess, if it is successful, then he can relapse. So hopefully it isn't a success.
But the question is, he's so far removed from NWO that we would even care?
Well, that's true too.
That's what I wonder. It's like it's been, what was it? The 2000s was what the really big thing.
Yeah.
Before they was like NWO plus 50,000 people. So it was like the early 2000s. And we're kind of removed from that, where kids today won't exactly know what that is. So that's just what I wonder. Like, how successful will this be? And will WWE sponsor this reunion?
No.
That's the thing. No?
I mean, they own the rights to it. So
yeah.
They have to do something about it, but I don't think. Oh, man. I guess that could be the only way to bring in Hogan, is if he's part of the group, so it's not so focused on him, and it's not like, oh, it's Hogan. Well, this is the character. It's the NWO. It's the whole group. So you sort of blend into, if let's say people wanted to boo him, but they want to cheer the NWO and Kevin Nash and Scott Hall, so then they don't boo because the other two guys are there and they like them, Yeah,
I mean, and also, according to ProWrestling.com, camera crews were with them when they was on the beach in Florida in their NWO gear filming stuff. So,
oh man, I hope it's just not another damn special about them and NWO. I mean, that's been beaten to death.
No, actually, what you said is brilliant.
I feel like every week you could catch the Monday Night Wars, or something like that on the network. It's like, yo, let it go. It's over.
What you're saying is wonderful. Because remember, we already know that Hogan did that whole "I'm so sorry" and started crying in the backstage, but that was filmed for the WWE 24 special, right? So that same crew,
I never want to see that.
right? But that same crew could also be the crew that's there filming, like, let's get the band back together. And it's not really a real reunion per se, as in like a show, but like what they're doing on the beach in Florida. So that could also be one thing. Or again, it could just be a WWE special where they come in like an audience that's pre-approved, or even the WWE staff pretends to be the regular audience and they cheer them, so that way you can't be screaming racist. And it's like they do their little one-man show for like 10 to 20 minutes. Hogan wrestles, I don't know, someone, and click, Kevin Nash just stands by the ring apron because he can't do anything because he's already
it's I don't know. I feel like it's still gonna. No, they need to do. All right, so we know Hogan's been doing the whole Boys and Girls Club thing, right?
Yeah.
Going around. They need to start airing some of that. Just be like, hey, we're all over the place. Remember Cena doing Make-A-Wish? We got Hulk Hogan. Just throw it in it. Hey, we have Hulk Hogan doing all this stuff, and he's hanging out with kids, and he's doing speeches about discrimination and this and this and that. Just, slide it in. And then just keep showing some of that, and then put them on TV. So it's like addressing it, but not addressing it.
But even during those speeches, he never addressed it. He was like, oh, you have to be careful what you say. He never said what I said was wrong. He was like, oh, you have to just be careful.
I don't know. That's a whole other thing. That's the wordplay and stuff. Who knows? So then, all someone has to do is say, raise a hand. I have a question. Yeah. Are you a racist? Well, you gotta be careful what you say. I know, but you said racist comments. So are you a racist? Do you hate black people and Asian people? That's it. That's how you solve that. That's why it's like I think he was in his way trying to say he's not. I mean, he's openly said he's not. And he's had some people come out in his defense and say, well, I've never had issues with him. We've hung out and stuff and done things, but
that's a touchy thing where you can be.
Well, that's what I'm saying. It's like it could be anything. It could be maybe he just I don't know. It's always just sort of like in his own words. What he said was, yeah, he's racist, but he wanted He wanted his daughter to at least get with one of the guys that had money or something, and not just like not do anything. One of those, right? Didn't he say something like that?
Well, he did say that, but also the main thing he said is, "I am a racist."
He did say that.
Yo, goodness, yes.
I don't remember that part. I don't remember him just saying that he was a racist.
He made
then how do you cover that up?
Saying that's the issue that I have. It's not like I got mad and I'm gonna automatically just attack your color because that's the first thing
No, he did. He said, but he said to a point that there were certain types of people that he didn't like. I thought that's what he said. That he was like, and that's where The Rock comes in. He's like, yeah, if she was with somebody like The Rock, he's making money doing the whole thing. No, she's going after these guys. These N-words, not doing anything. Something like that. It was all muffled when I heard it. It was so long ago. And I never felt like I heard the whole thing.
It was.
There's got to be some wordplay or something that the WWE is using to bring him back to easy. Because if he would have just came out straight, yeah, I'm racist. I hate all these people. How do you even have him address the boys in the back? It's like, what's the address? You just came out and said you're straight up racist.
Well, remember, some of the people didn't accept that apology, nor was they going in the back to be huggy and friendly with him.
Well, he's never going to wrestle again. I don't think he's going to wrestle. You can't have him wrestle someone of color or anything, because God forbid he wins that. And that's not going to look good. So even if he cheats to win, and some people may say, hey, that's good heat right there. I know Bruce Pritchard would definitely go with it. But that's just not that time. It's a different time. You can't go with those cheap heat gimmicks.
I just don't know. Remember, allegedly, P.S. Michael Hayes.
Well, yeah, that's always been, and that's the other thing that's been said by numerous people of color, that he's just like. But then some people say, well, that's just the way he talks because he's from down south, and that's how they all
are. Right, but. Allegedly,
he gets a pass. To get a pass for it.
Remember, allegedly, the documented rant that he went on, and the company had to put him on that medication that when you drink alcohol you vomit, because when he gets really drunk he starts failing his southern ways, allegedly.
Oh my lord, this is so crazy. There's no point. There's no this world. I just don't get the whole being racist anywhere, because wherever you think you're superior, you go somewhere else and you're not.
Right.
You know, like I had a buddy of mine, he's Argentinian. He was kind of racist with stuff, but he spoke broken English. I'm like, yeah, go somewhere else where just because you're light skinned, go somewhere else where there are straight up white people and they will hate on you regardless of what your skin color, because you don't speak perfect English. So they know you're a foreigner. You know what I mean? It's like it doesn't go anywhere. So why even bother being all racist thinking that you're better than the next? You're not. There's always somebody that's gonna shit on you. Doesn't matter where.
Right. That is true. Unfortunately. Very, very true. But yeah. So in non-racist news, All In, they just have their new match was just announced between Steve Amell, aka the Arrow, versus Christopher Daniels, who's also like a really big comic book fan. So that would be fun. Those who don't know, they've also
You said Christopher Daniels?
Steven Hinton. So what? Christopher Daniels.
Oh, an angel?
Yeah.
Huh.
There's only one. Christopher Daniels. He's still alive.
Yeah. Well, yeah. He wrestles Ring of Honor, but he also does like stunt work for Universal and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And we all remember him from Spider-Man.
Yeah, he was good. Good old Spider-Man. But yeah, he's doing the All In. It would be nice to see him on Arrow. But anyway, he's doing the All In, and those who don't know, All In is exclusively their pre-show at 6 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Will be on the WGN America.
WWE Network.
No, let's not. No. The WGN America, and then following that at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, it will be on pay-per-view. Yay for people who have money.
Pay-per-view.
Pay-per-view. Remember that? Remember pay-per-view?
Pay-per-view.
Wrestling on
Well, it's going to
pay-per-view.
be online, though. I mean, when we're saying pay-per-view, we're not saying like they're just going to be on cable. People can watch it online pay-per-view, right?
But I just wanted to throw in pay-per-view because it's such a throwback.
Oh, man.
And
Well,
it is a flashback.
since we're talking about pay-per-view, with the whole WWE Women's Revolution, and they're talking about how the first women's pay-per-view. No, it's not, because it turns out it's only on the WWE Network.
Or
it's not. So it's a network special.
True. Or you can look at it this way. If your 1 month subscription, you get the free one, is already up, technically you're paying to view. Get it? Because it's $9.99.
But you're not just getting that one event, you're getting the rest of the month.
Well, yes, but
so you can get other shows. I get what you're saying, but I mean, when you pay for that pay-per-view, you don't get any other shows after that. That's it. You get whatever they gave you right now. And it's like, I didn't like that, Max. Too bad. On the network, at least you could tune in and watch some older pay-per-views that you may like. It's like, oh, I'll try something else. Make me happy. How's that Halloween Havoc? Let's see. Click, click, click.
Oh, Halloween Havoc. I missed that.
And
but yeah.
For people, real quick, because we're just talking about the network. For people that have the network, try a game. This is a game that I play. Select a pay-per-view. Just scroll through, close your eyes, scroll through the years, click, and then scroll through, and then again, don't look, and then click, and just let it start. And just see what it landed on and what year, what era. It's amazing, because then you'll see something like, oh, wow, I remember this, and you'll want to watch it. And it's fun to do that. You just throw in these random, I've watched all these random pay-per-views and Royal Rumbles. I'm like, oh, yeah, I remember this, with King Mabel, so. It's fun to do that.
Yes. So, also, Chris Jericho, everybody knows he has a relationship with Impact. People are saying, there's rumors, that he will be on Impact Wrestling. So, that should be fun. There's very high Creative is very excited about this. So we could see him on the show.
Big
Anyone
news.
remember that? No?
Big news. There's no way. There's no reason for that. Besides the fact it's in Canada, that's the only connection I could see there. But no, I don't see why he would want to do that. What's the point? To feud with who? Sammy Callahan? Huh?
Austin
Johnny
Aries?
Mundo? Come on now.
John, speaking of Johnny Mundo, he just proposed, I guess, like 4 months ago, since Impact is like on his weird schedule. But he proposed to his girlfriend in the ring. It was really sweet. It was really nice. She said yes.
Who? What are you talking? Who proposed? Johnny Impact's married. He married Valkyrie a while ago.
Right, but remember this.
They're doing a story on it.
No. Remember how it's shot, it's filmed later. Like, remember how it's aired later than when it's filmed?
Yeah, but but even then, I'm pretty sure he was married before they even went to Impact, because they were engaged during the Lucha, and then they took time off, and then he was doing all these interviews talking about how he's married and now he's going to be working at Impact, and she's coming along. They both got signed to Impact, so I guess that's what I'm saying. It's like, I wonder if they're just doing it like a storyline now, like, oh look, he likes this girl, and now he's going to propose.
Well, he did this huge thing. John Morrison went on, and he did "Will You Marry Me" on Impact. He stopped the whole match and everything, and she said yes. So,
speaking of John Morris, he was on the Colt Cabana doing his show, which is different now, but he had John Morrison on there, and he said he has no plans of ever going back to WWE, and he says just because of the schedule. He said he doesn't want that schedule. So there's one guy who was like, there is no price for him. He was like, nope, I don't want that schedule. He's like, I like doing the shows that I do now, and that's it, and then go home. I don't like traveling all like a circus. It's like, I can't do that. So because he was asked, would you ever go back? I mean, now that you're back into wrestling, doing all these indie shows, traveling around, and Colt bumped into him on one of the shows, and he was like, nope, don't want to do that. Don't want to be doing all those shows. And now look, see, it's a good thing now, because then you end up all banged up, and your career gets cut short, because human body shouldn't be taking all those bumps. I mean, think about it. Think if Steve Austin didn't have all those issues, all those Monday Night Wars and pay-per-views and all that stuff, he'd probably still be wrestling with 2 good knees
and a good neck.
And a good, well, that could have happened at any point. That was a shame. That could have happened at any time. The knees just takes your toll, but the neck, man, that's, someone could drop you by accident at any time.
Yeah.
Did we talk about Sabu and the comments that he made?
No, we did not talk about Sabu and the comments that he made.
that he made about all these guys passing away, and he said at least it's not him or something like that.
Oh.
And people attacked him for it, and he was like, because he was like, all these wrestlers keep dropping like flies, but at least it hasn't happened to me. And people got offended, and I don't get it, because if you see, the guy has had so many damn trips to the hospital. He's had the broken neck, he's had the broken jaw, he's had the barbed wire ripped to his bicep. He's got a GoFundMe just to pay for all these surgeries that he needs. So the guy is lucky to still be alive.
It was bad timing. It was during the day when, remember, everyone died at once, including Brian Christopher. He was the last death of the day. And Sabu tweeted, "Sweet, I am safe. Wrestlers usually die in
threes."
So maybe that was not the best comment.
I get it, but I see, again, I think we're in a time where it's all about being very PE, and people need to know Sabu has been through hell. His body tells the tale. You look at him and you're like, holy shit, are you sure you're not in a real combat sport? Because your body's banged up. Big slice marks all over the place. We've all seen that the back body drop that Benoit gave him and made him land on his neck. I mean, it's a miracle he's still alive. I still talk to some people that are like, oh yeah, didn't he die? Isn't he one of the guys that died? No, he's still alive, and he's still wrestling, because he was so crazy. there's moves that he does till this day that no one does. That triple moonsault over the chair, no one does that. No one does that.
Well, hold on. So,
Or the triple step up moonsault.
Which comment was worse, his comment or New Jack's comment?
Well, New Jack's just crazy. You got to expect anything out of New Jack's mouth. New Jack will just say whatever he feels like saying.
I mean, they were equally bad comments, but I feel like that New Jack comment, obviously, it's a rivalry with Jerry Lawler in the family that he has with him, and he's never gotten over. So that's that comment was very, very over the top.
Yeah, that I felt like that was more direct. You know, Sabu was not direct. It was just like generalizing, like, "Hey, wrestlers die in threes, and I'm good for this month."
During the backlash, people were tweeting, and it was like, you know, they say, "Well, Tom Pritchard was like, is he that bad of a person?" And basically, Sabu was like, "Yeah, he was that bad of a person." Everyone in the wrestling field, not going to say everyone, but a majority of them, was like, okay, yeah, he's rest in peace, but he probably has it coming to him. That was the general consensus. Wrong, but that was the general consensus.
Yeah.
I mean, and there's plenty of guys that I'm sure when they pass, we're gonna hear the same thing. You know, same thing with Hogan. Yeah, I'm sure people all over are gonna open up and be like, "Yo, he was a racist. Guy spit on me, told me to carry his bags, and I was a tag partner." You know, who knows? We're gonna hear all kinds of shit. You know, but until that day, you know, we don't hear it. But I'm sure some things are gonna come out. But I don't know. When I read it, I chuckled. I follow Sabu because I still think he's one of my favorite wrestlers because he was going above and beyond before everybody. He was doing some banana moves. You know, it's like, why? You know, nothing tops those barbed wire matches. Seeing his arm getting ripped up, and then he just duct tapes it. Duct tape is like something he carries in his car, I guess, to fix up that and glue. And he just like duct tape. It's like, all right, got to keep going. The match has to keep going.
Yeah.
You know, I remember he broke his jaw. He popped out, and he was pointing, and then Bill Alfonso runs to the back, comes out with all this tape, and starts taping up his jaw. It was hilarious. I'm like, this has to be a work. Nope. See pictures afterwards, jaw broken.
For his medical expenses and him just to stay alive. So he's been through a lot, but
that's
just
what I'm saying. So for somebody to go, wait, how dare you say that? Have you seen this man? Or are you just like pissed because you see somebody made a comment?
But it was more than the three things. Remember, he also went on and he was like, he was upset because he wanted a refund because he thought the hospital was trying to save Christopher and that they should have just pulled the plug. It went on much deeper than that.
Yeah, probably did, but I stopped at the first part because I just didn't see any issues with the original comment. Then, of course, people attacking, so then he goes after them. You know, and I think he dropped the N-word a few times too after that toward people. But the way I read that was like more of like a slang term of using it. You know,
yeah. It's just, don't tweet out that you're happy someone's dead. Just don't do that. Yeah. So yeah, that happened. And lastly, big news. Well, second to lastly, big news. We have the weird, infamous CM Punk versus Colt Cabana feud that we thought was ended, thought passed. Everyone was happy. It was a happy story. But now it looks like Colt Cabana is suing CM Punk for damages. So Cabana, whose real name is Scott Colton, is suing CM Punk, Philip Jack Brooks, for breach of contract and fraud in the Crook County Circuit Court. Cabana and Punk, as you guys already know, were best friends. They did that whole podcast, and from there it went completely downhill when they got into the lawsuit with WWE and the doctor. Anyway, Cabana's lawsuit contends that Punk promised to help him out with the legal bills that they amassed fighting the defamation lawsuit. Cabana claims Punk told him in a text, these text messages, never delete your text messages, that he would be 100% covered. However, according to Cabana, Punk has failed to keep that promise, leaving him with unpaid legal bills totaling $513,736, according to the lawsuit. Punk asked Cabana to pay half of the legal fees, which comes out to $2,500. Wait, $2,056,800.
Yeah, it's got to be more than $2,000.
Yeah, sorry, I am dyslexic, and you throw numbers at me. That's not good. Anyway, he says basically you're on your own. That's what Punk said, allegedly. Cabana is now asking for $200,000 in general damage, along with $1 million in punitive and exemplary damages, according to the lawsuit. The lawsuit claims that Brooks acted with fraud, malice, and oppression towards Colton, with the deliberate intention of causing Colton harm. Cabana, as you all know, he's the host of the podcast, and he has not been the same since this lawsuit. And he is also saying that because of this lawsuit, which is to get back at, that was originally to get back at CM Punk, he has suffered a lot of emotional damage behind this, and he wants his money. And I don't think they're punking him.
I think he's got a valid claim because, I mean, first, the whole thing was crazy. I don't know how you sue somebody interviewing someone else for the person's comments. It's like, well, that's what he said. I just let him say it. How am I involved in this shit? But whatever. But the fact that he did have to pay out of his own pocket, his legal fees and stuff, that there was no need for that, and that was all because of what Punk said. Yeah, and Punk has millions, so he could easily just sprinkle some money on this and make it go away. So it's kind of cheap on his part to not help out his buddy Colt. I thought that he was taking care of it. I remember when it first started, Colt made a comment that he was like that Punk is going to help him out with all this because he's just the little indie guy with the podcast, and CM Punk is the multimillionaire who retired from wrestling. Now many people can retire from wrestling with a lot of money, and he did.
So I would like to make a few quick comments on this particular news story. First and foremost, it is an unfortunate situation. I think that Colt Cabana, what he can take from this experience is he needs to make a new show called The Art of Backstabbing, so he can talk about what's going on with CM Punk, because, yeah, this makes CM Punk look absolutely horrible. That whole exchange and all the information that has come out thus far, obviously, this is still a developing story, and we need to see how it ends. But, yeah, I think Colt Cabana definitely has a lot going for him in this particular case. I would say now in hindsight, this whole thing that was between the Doctor and CM Punk, nobody wins because the Doctor pulled Colt Cabana into this. And now as a result, Colt Cabana and CM Punk are no longer friends. So I think he got even though the Doctor didn't win the case, he did win because it messed up their relationship. So that's not a good situation.
Also, the lawsuit really made CM Punk look like a liar. Because remember, when he was on the stand and he was like, remember he was saying he didn't remember a lot of things and that he said things in anger that may or may not have happened.
Or with the same doctor. Remember, he was like, I know one of them. Yeah.
So it also made him look bad as well. Which could, in turn, help Cabana's lawsuit.
Oh, absolutely. And the thing is that I'm not really sure why. I don't understand. Obviously, I don't have the money that CM Punk has, but I don't understand why you just don't pay. Follow through. If you told Colt that you were going to help him, just pay. You can afford it. Obviously, all the money you got from UFC, even though you did horrible in that particular career choice. I mean, he has the money, so I don't understand what because it's going to cost more paying for the lawyer and all this other stuff over time. And then if you lose, that's even more money. So I don't know why he doesn't just pay to make, because Colt Cabana is not making the kind of money you make or you have. So I just don't understand the logic in that.
You know. And remember, he still has some of that Marvel money from the comic books that no one bought.
Oh yes, yep, absolutely. So I don't get it. I don't get it.
Yeah. So it's just a very unfortunate situation all around, and I hope he does get his money.
Yeah, and I will give a shout out to Adam because he said that he stopped in Chicago on his way back home today, and he was unable to reach Colt Cabana for a comment. So
I was looking for that studio apartment. Could not find. So there goes that. Maybe next time.
So, in the most exciting news, I know you guys are so excited. You've already pre-ordered WWE 19, even though they just released 3 screenshots of AJ Styles. Only 2 months to go until the game is released on the 9th of October. 2K has announced that they have a new mode set to debut in the game, and that is called Towers. Yay! And it'll also be the mode used to determine the semifinalists for the AJ Styles $1 Million Challenge, where you win actual $1 million, not virtual money, but real money. So in the new mode, the players will choose a WWE superstar or their My Player to compete against a line of opponents in a digital tower of sorts. Each tower has a unique theme. Some will be packed with current WWE and NXT superstars. Others will have WWE legends serving as, I guess, help so that you can, fight them off so you climb higher up in the ranks. There are 2K towers where players choose a WWE superstar to compete against other members of the promotion across a number of different towers, if that makes any sense. Each tower has a unique theme focused on the roster or specific match type. Some matches will have different win conditions and stipulations. The tower may require you to score a certain amount of points, and there a variety of match types like steel cage, table, fall counts anywhere, and there will be more. There's also a Legends lore, which is exclusive to the 2K towers and is designed to highlight the careers of the WWE legends featured in the game that they still have not announced. So, each tower will either be a gauntlet or a steps mission. In a gauntlet tower, players need to complete the gauntlet entirely in one session. Quitting early or losing a match resets the progress back to 0. The others are step towers. In a step tower, players climb their way through a tower one match at a time and at their own pace. There will also be My Player Pacific Towers. Players will use their My Players to fight through towers with variety of difficulty settings. There will also be daily, weekly, and pay-per-view based towers. The stars earned from those towers will count towards all pay-per-view events and Road to Glory qualifications. The pay-per-view towers will run along the actual WWE pay-per-view schedule to add current relevance and will also serve as a means to unlock superstar parts for My Players. The Towers feature is one of the smartest modes, they said. 2K said this, not me. That they have conjured up for the 2K series. It is positioned to provide fresh content throughout the life circle of the game, and is something that has an online flavor but isn't dependent upon server strength or online competition to enjoy. So that is what they released so far about this game. Those who don't know, it's coming to Xbox One, PS4, and PC on October 5th. Yeah, it sounds really convoluted. So what do you guys
keep
think?
that shit. I'm done. I'm so done.
So I would like to say this right now. I don't really understand, and I spoke about this on the co-op earlier today. I really don't understand these companies that they announce a game and then they want you to pre-order right away with nothing. Where is the gameplay footage for this game?
Well, we technically already know the gameplay footage because it's the same of every year.
Yeah, pretty much. Pretty much. You're correct. But I mean, I just don't get it. Now, I will give another example. You know, earlier this week, you know, August 7th, they finally released the first gameplay trailer for NBA 2K19. When is this game out? September 7th. So these people are waiting a month beforehand to release a gameplay trailer, and I just don't get it. I just don't get it. You know, because if you want people to buy this game, and in the case of the WWE game, it's coming out in a month where there is so many other games that people are going to want to spend their money on, including Red Dead Redemption 2, including Call of Duty, Battlefield 5. The list goes on. So I would think if you want this game to be a success, you should put a lot more time and effort into letting people know what's actually in the game. Now, hopefully, when SummerSlam happens, we're going to get some type of footage or some type of news on the game that week.
We usually get during SummerSlam. Remember, they do the whole entire roster, and they come out in that conference thing, and everyone pretends to care, and Ric Flair gets drunk.
Well, he can't do that this time because he may not survive if he does get drunk this time. So
it might sell that game.
Yeah, he might. But
we'll get the new edition indeed if he does.
Yeah, no, you're right. But overall, I'm with Adam on this. I need to see something. All of this stuff they're talking about, the towers that. Show me some gameplay footage. I need to see that. I need to see what I want to know all the details. What are the DLC characters going to be? As I've said before on this show, if the Undisputed Era is DLC, that is an automatic thumbs down for me, because these guys have been on in NXT for a long time. There's no way in hell they should be DLC when this game comes out. But we'll see about that, because the NXT, they'll probably have an NXT pack. You'll get Ricochet, you'll get Undisputed Era, and a few other people as DLC though.
They can keep all that shit.
But we got 3 screenshots of AJ Styles in the ring coming in from his entrance, and it looked good. The graphics for those screenshots. We don't know how it plays, but yay, screenshots.
We don't know how it plays. We already know how screenshots work with this fucking company. A lot of fucking touch-ups. A lot of touch-ups.
That and knowing them, that costume you see AJ Styles have, that's probably the only costume he'll have in the game, because for some reason, if you want to create a different attire, you got to go through a whole process to download stuff from the community creations and all this other stuff. So yeah, it's they have a lot of stuff to fix with this game, so I need to see. But I can tell you right now, the screenshot probably looks okay. You already know there's going to be some stuff that's messed up in this game, though, when it launches. We know that. And that whole thing that they said about trying to have continuous content and line it up with the current schedule. I will tell you right now, if that all-women's pay-per-view is not, when I pick up the game, when I play the game, and we get to October, if that all-women's pay-per-view is not on that universe mode or whatever, then they are not accurate, because this is the same exact month. So all of that stuff needs to be in the game.
We don't even have all the women in the game. That's going to be on a pay-per-view.
Well, yeah.
It's so sad. But there's more. But wait, though.
Oh, what's that?
Get excited for this now. Daniel Bryan filmed at a high school in Aberdeen, Washington, his hometown, for a special WWE 2K19 project. Yay!
Hey, I'm happy for Daniel Bryan, but his time as a top star, I think it has faded. I mean, we will see when he has his match against The Miz at SummerSlam, if that gets him back on track. But they haven't really done anything with him yet since he's been cleared.
They just put him in all those matches, the supposed dream matches. Have you been watching him and Joe and everybody? Isn't that what you wanted to see?
Oh yeah, him and Joe in one match, no storyline, and then you had him and AJ in one match, and then Shinsuke interfered in that match. Yeah, we've seen some of that stuff, but they haven't really built any meaningful storyline except for him teaming up with Kane and getting their asses whooped by the Bludgeon Brothers. That's all I've seen so far. But the Miz and Daniel Bryan thing, yeah, that has been built up since he was injured. So that might actually be more entertaining, but we'll see. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, no, I'm not thrilled with any of it. That's the thing. It's like it was sad that he got hurt. Don't want to see that ever happen, but I was never a big Daniel Bryan fan. So when I'm like, oh, he can wrestle now, all right, whatever. It didn't do it for me. I was like, it's not a big deal. I have to say, I felt like sort of the way Vince feels. Like he was just a chant that got over. And that was it. Because I still don't see the big deal of even when he was in the Indies and he made it and he was on NXT and I'm like, oh, okay. And I was like, oh yeah, but he's part of NXT now and he's gonna be a big star. I'm like, I don't see the big star aspect of this. He's just a little guy who likes to run around and do flips and stuff. And yeah, okay. You know, I never thought he was that good on the mic. Nothing ever really came off to me like, well, I guess I have to watch this guy. This is going to be awesome. These matches are going to be awesome. It just, I don't know. So there goes that.
Yeah. We'll see. But I'm happy for him.
Yay!
What else is that?
So you guys might like this since you guys equally hate the game. 2K basically got attacked on social media during a tweet that they did yesterday. It's a photo frame for users on Facebook to apply so they can resemble AJ Styles. You know, it's a promotion to get the game out. However, the photo frame that they used was horrible looking. It made you look completely distorted. It was horrible. And people took to Twitter, basically not only just attacking how horrible that was, the fact that there wasn't any gameplay footage. Also, they was very upset that 2K has been spending more time developing the NBA 2K series instead of the 2K19 WWE games. And it just was a complete debacle. So you guys are not the only one who seems to have hatred for this series, but it seems that a lot of other people are. They're saying that they're doing stupid things and that they refuse to buy a game that's full of bugs and glitches.
Uh-oh.
Oh yeah, no, this has been since what happened with the Switch and the backlash that never got resolved.
Mm-hmm.
Like, yo, this is still broken, and all they do is like, well, don't worry, we won't make another one for Switch, but we got another one coming for the other. No one cares. If you don't support something, if you're not pulling an Ubisoft where it's like, wow, there's some issues, don't worry, we're gonna keep working on it until we get it right, then we don't want it. What's the point of giving you our money for you to just say, oh yeah, we're gonna add this, we're gonna get no, you're not. Because it's gonna still have issues, and we already know from your history, you don't care. You just keep moving forward. So why should we put in money into that?
Yeah, I agree, and I just want to make one thing very clear. If 2K does listen to this podcast, I never said that I hate the series. What I am coming from, the perspective I'm coming from is someone who, obviously, I played a lot of wrestling games growing up, so I've seen a lot of great approaches to making an excellent fighting and wrestling game. So obviously, when I play this and when I know that 2K's name is on it, because I know how much money they're pulling in as a company, I just feel like it could be so much better than what it actually is. So when I complain, it's because I want them to make changes. It's not because I think, oh, I hate the series. No, the last game, there were certain things about that game that was okay. It wasn't like everything is just complete garbage. But with that said, it should be at a higher standard because of who is involved with this publishing. So, like you said, if we will see what the future holds for the series. If they do decide to take a break and it's not a yearly release, maybe that's a good thing. But for right now, yeah, I think they deserve all the criticism that they're getting. And one final thing I will also say is for those that were criticizing the for the people who were talking about NBA 2K, oh, don't worry, that will get criticisms as well, because last year the criticism with that was the microtransactions in that game are absolutely ridiculous for my player. So I'm pretty sure that game is going to get its fair share of criticism as well. But so it's not the only one that's going to get criticized. But WWE, and it definitely should be held to a higher standard, because they haven't done any. In my opinion, when 2K picked up that license, that was all they did. They didn't add anything to the game, at least not yet. They started to improve the visuals somewhat over the last couple of releases, but they still have a long ways to go with everything else. So we'll see what they do. But I believe, yeah, any criticism they get, they absolutely deserve all of that. So
yeah, this is very unfortunate situation. And also remember, it was announced that the 2K franchise, WWE 2K, is going to get a massive overhaul, and that
yeah, all right,
laughing, it's not. So the 2K games president, David Ishmailer, sorry if I butchered that. Basically, they're saying that they are keen to take a higher level, and that they're stepping up their investment in the series overall. Theoretically, that means the company is ready to stop rehashing the aforementioned engine. They're not going to use the same engine anymore. They're going to give the game an entire fresh feel for the first time in 2 decades. So we had to wait 20 years for this, but 2 decades. Also, they're saying that the game most likely will not be annual anymore. So then that way they can work on the game and everything is not rushed. Because what they do now is right after they announce 2K, say 19, they're already working on 2K20.
Mm-hmm.
So I just want to make a comment on that. I will believe that when I see it, because what I think is going to happen, because we know that they have that SmackDown is going to be on Fox next year, 2019. There's no way they're not going to want to be tempted to release a wrestling game to coincide with that coming to Fox. So
see, they should just remaster Raw versus SmackDown. Remember that game?
Oh yeah, I do remember that game.
Give me no mercy.
I don't believe anything that I'm hearing right now. It sounds like more talk. It's just like when they say, "Yeah, this game is bigger and better than last year." It's the same thing. It's like, oh, I'll wait. Just like everyone always says, "How do you vote? Vote with your wallet." I'll wait till they introduce this new engine. Because if I want to play this 2K19, I could just play my 2K18. And that's it. They know it. I know it. They just said it. It's still built on this. I don't care. I can go to character creation if somebody else made that character. And then I'll play with that one. And that's it. I don't see it anymore. I've woken up. I've wiped all the clutter from my eyes, and I see it for what it is. This is all a scam. It's a toy. It's a scam. It's the same rehash year after year. They're repackaging modes, repackaging wrestlers to make it seem like it's new. It's a shame. It's a shame. That story mode that they introduced was horrible. And 2K18 was horrible. The last time they introduced any kind of innovation that was fun, it was Showcase. We all love Showcase. I love Showcase. That could keep going.
But this was Showcase.
Directions. They just dropped it. They were like, forget it. We're done. We're done with Showcase. Nobody wants that anymore. They stopped with the Brock Lesnar one. And they were like, everyone was like, well, they'll come back with it. Nope, they didn't. They don't care.
Universe mode. That's what they said.
Well, the universe mode sounded great, and it was for a while. And every time I jump in it, it's cool, but you have to make it cool.
We're getting space.
I have to create all the other shows. I have to create the guides. I have to move things around. They don't just generally move around. There's no draft still. Things that people wanted, they don't give.
That and then when they do try to implement stuff, it is a half-assed effort. Like, for example, in universe mode, if you start a feud between a heel and a face, why is the face now booed by the fans and attacking the heel? Because I experienced that not too long ago when I had Dolph Ziggler, who is a heel now, with obviously teaming up with Drew McIntyre, and I had Ambrose come back to team up with Seth Rollins, and these guys come back and just start attacking Dolph Ziggler and Drew McIntyre, and the fans are booing. So I'm like, it doesn't make any kind of sense. So yeah, they have a lot of work to do. I'll just leave it at that.
That's a lot of work, and the thing is, I don't think they have the staff for it, or at least the people behind that are developing. They just can't do it unless they bring in another team. And that's the other question. Everyone's like, "Oh, you see, they're going to redo it when?" You know how long it takes to develop a new engine? So they're going to have to go out and buy one. And what engine could they buy that's good for this genre? So
Unreal.
Well, Unreal, we have to see. I haven't seen Unreal pull off a wrestling game. So I don't know if that will work for this. We've seen Frostbite that EA was using. It doesn't work for all aspects of their games, all different genres. It's good for some, not for all. So we'll have to see. And this doesn't mean that the 2K20 is going to be on a new engine. It just means now that they're noticing there's a slump in sales. They're seeing the social media backlash and like, all right, well, and I'm sure when they found out, it's like, all right, so you guys making another wrestling game for the Switch? You guys figured that out? No, we haven't figured it out. We're just not doing it. Oh, excuse me? What? What do you see that it's the new hotness right now, and everything that goes on it goes gold, and people will just buy it just because it's on it? Yeah, well, we couldn't fix it and get the last one working. I see that. Well, what do you need? Well, we need to start from scratch. This engine don't work on that. Shit. All right, so we'll make a statement, and that's it. I don't see 2K doing much. I mean, they're the publisher. They're saying what publishers say. Mm-hmm. Developers. I mean, we gotta keep going down that road. That's what really matters. Who is developing? Where are you getting this engine? So that way we can get an idea of the direction you're going in. But there's none of that. So we'll see. I mean, because this thing, publisher can say all they want. Oh, we're going to go and we're going to help. We're going to do this. Okay, so you're going to put on more billboards. You're going to go and you're going to get some more Hall of Famers like you did when you got Sting and did that whole thing. Because remember, that was the thing. That was the 2K that was making those mergers. Yep. They were making these dreams come true. So if you're doing that, okay, but then what about the actual products? How is that going? Well, that's not us now. That's Ukes. Let them do it. That's their job. You're right. That is their job, and they're not doing a good job. And I think it's not just. I brought this up before. It's not just all of them. It's the window. They don't have a large window to work in. With 9 months, that's not enough to work on a new engine and get everything up and running again. You can't do that. You need more than that. So they need another team, or they need to go outside the box and buy another engine somewhere.
Yeah. But yeah, we'll see what happens. And also the rumor is that the showcase mode will be centered around Daniel Bryan, which is why he's filming in the high school, and it's weird.
Oh, no. Showcase around Daniel Bryan.
Daniel Bryan showcase.
It's interesting.
Yeah, or they don't really know yet what's going on. And, a lot of people are basically sharing.
That'll probably be DLC. That'll probably be more DLC, because if you've seen that package, well, we talked about it. They're nickel and dime for everything.
Well, that's what I'm waiting to hear when they announce the DLC for the season pass. Because I will laugh and I will be complaining about that on this show when I find that there are people in there that should already be on the main roster.
This is the beauty of the digital era, though, because within a month that game will be in a bargain bin digitally, just like 2K18 was. I remember it was like a month after it was on $34.
Oh yeah.
After that, it was like $29.
Oh yeah, the holiday shopping.
Yeah, it just keeps dropping and dropping, and that's it. So why even bother? What's the point? They were like, oh, pre-order, get this. I don't care. I will never use that.
Yeah, Ronda. No, but if you're a Ronda fan, you definitely got a pre-order.
No, for what? For a Samoan drop? I could make a generic female wrestler right now with a Samoan drop and an armbar.
Well, hey, one thing that you do know, if you do pre-order that game to get Ronda Rousey, I guarantee that you will be playing a lot more with Ronda Rousey than the number of matches she will wrestle in a whole year. So yeah, that's That's a good value for your money.
Just do it. And the truth, I want to go there. They've never done the women justice. Like the way they look, their character models look horrible in these games.
Oh yeah. Oh
They
yeah.
never look right. They look scary. Their eyes and stuff. It's as if they just go off of a damn coloring book picture and say, "Yeah, we'll just use this." You know what I mean? It's like, damn, if they took the time like they do for the main roster, then the women would look great, but they all look scary.
Oh gosh.
That's true.
So,
Well, we'll see what happens. Just remember though, Adam. Just remember, as we end off this conversation, 2K19 is going to be phenomenal, right? That's what AJ Styles said. So,
and remember, you took $1 million.
The only thing phenomenal about this is going to be the paycheck that he gets. That's the only thing phenomenal, and we're not seeing that.
But remember, WWE is giving away $1 million and the chance to beat AJ Styles in person.
You sure that's not 1 million in WWE.com bucks? So you can get all those T-shirts and belts and shit. Because please, that network, you can't play a Rumble or anything on that damn network. This shit crashes.
I think
it lags. It's horrible. Unless you're playing on a LAN, it never works right when it's a big group.
I honestly think that promotion, that right there can be considered, it's a cool thing. They want people to think it's a cool thing, but that right there to me is an act of desperation.
Well, it reminds me of when Vince was giving money out on air.
Oh,
yeah. Yes. Yeah.
Gotta get people to watch.
Yeah.
What'll motivate them to watch? Well, say you're gonna give them money.
It worked though. Everyone tuned in.
Yeah, and they signed up on the website because remember,
technically.
But this is not that. This is just one person. This is one chance. With that one, people were winning money every night.
Yep.
Yeah.
You know, and that was live. This we don't know. They could say Joe Schmo from Alaska won. We don't know.
Exactly.
How many people won McDonald's Monopoly?
Well, this is how we get to Nicholas. Nicholas will win.
Nicholas will win. There you go.
Gosh, this is Aleister.
So that's why. So I'm not excited for any. The only wrestling game I'm excited for comes out in a few weeks, and that's the Fire Pro.
Yeah.
That's it. We'll play some Fire Pro, you know, and we'll have fun with that, and that's it. Move on, and maybe one day we will get a fun wrestling game again, or like a Def Jam type game. Did you see that thing that they?
Yeah. I did see that. I did see that, and I'm curious to know what they are teasing.
Well, I think they're probably trying to partner up and trying to see if there's even an interest to jump back in the gaming world.
Yeah.
So they're like, hey, should we jump back in, and what would you like to see? It's like a feeler. That's what I see. Like, I mean, hell, I'm still waiting for Getting Up 2, Mark Echo's game. That game should have had a sequel a long time ago. Yeah. That was a way. There is still no game that you can do graffiti like that. You know, it had the parkour, it had the Assassin's Creed elements, and you could do graffiti and do these big pieces, and it was a whole game mechanic behind it, not just pressing a button. It had cool music. It was awesome. It was fun, and they never made another one.
Yeah,
you know, and that's a shame. Bring that back too.
Well, maybe we'll see what happens.
Remaster No Mercy.
But it doesn't matter because all these games are all going to fall by the wayside because you know what comes out in October.
Oh yeah, October. Yeah, this
Red Dead, man. That gameplay
it looks fantastic.
Shoot, I almost turned on my 360 or even my Xbox One to replay the whole original Red Dead. I was like, I'm about to go back. Yo, this got me hyped. You know, the story, the guy's fighting through the window, you know, and then the whole fight mechanic, the fight system jumps in. You know, I was like, all right, this is going to be fun. I'm looking forward to this. This is going to consume a lot of my gaming time.
Oh, yeah.
So even all those other games, it's just going to slip through the cracks. And that's the thing. You see all the big titles moving away from it, but sport games, they can't move away.
Yep, that's
true. This is their window. You know, and as much as, you know, wrestling, pro wrestling, people's sport or not, that's their window. They come out every year in that window.
But don't worry, as Dana said already, as we know, WWE will still be on MPD for that month, but it will not be anywhere close to the top.
No.
I want to say the top 5 or 6. It may be in 13, 14, maybe 10, but nowhere near.
No, Vince McMahon's worth $2 billion. That's a lot of games you can buy.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that
It's gonna be sick.
number 2
Well,
spot.
not even that. But even before that, you got Spider-Man.
Oh, yeah.
So you got
Yep.
Spider-Man that's going to be in September. You got Red Dead that's in October. And then you got all the other suckers that are going to be sprinkling around, like with the Black Ops and all that other stuff. And so, you know.
Well,
and
I
then,
would say
of
good
course, FIFA.
good luck.
Don't
Gotta say good luck to WWE 2K19 for October.
It's very much a good luck because then this is the first time. I mean, yeah, we've always had issues with their games. It's like, well, they'll fix it. But this is the first time where they've pretty much abandoned a broken game and just left it alone and didn't say anything. And that's that Switch version. So as much as they want to say, well, it wasn't us, it wasn't you, it was a third party, don't matter. It's still under the same 2K, 18 umbrella, WWE. It's still your game.
Yep.
On a platform which is the new hot platform right now. So if let's say somebody says, all right, well, they didn't fix this, I'm definitely not going to get the new one because I don't trust them as a company to fix it. Why would they? Why should I trust them in buying something else? They don't care.
That's true.
And then the fact that they openly said, oh, well, we're not going to make another one. So you're not going to make another one for Switch, meanwhile all the other bigger players are doing it? What does that say about you as a whole? You just don't know how to do it and you can't do it and you're walking away from it. So I don't trust your rehashes, your legacy editions that you keep coming out on consoles and PC.
Ouch.
No, it is. Like even when they did that John Cena one, that was a sign of the turning of everything just going downhill.
Well, hold on a second. I thought Dana pre-ordered that, so you can't criticize that edition.
What was it? It had like 40 wrestlers or some shit. Remember, it was a low count, and then they went to nickel and dime. People flipped out.
Yeah, and then they had the NXT edition, which they said, oh yeah, Shinsuke, Apollo Crews, and was it Nia Jax? You get those characters, and it's so funny because by the time that came out, they were already on the main roster. It's like, what the hell is this? So yeah, timing is off.
All the timing is off.
Well, now they're gonna update it so everything is concurrent.
Yeah, we'll see about that.
Yeah, we'll see. I've heard that before too.
Oh,
the fact that Ronda Rousey is a DLC character is a pre-order and not in the game is the issue right there. So
it was. I mean, they showed us that even when they announced, oh, guess what? We're putting the Hardys in this game. Well, the Hardys, Matt came in with his stripe and he was doing everything as Woken. What the hell? They didn't do that. They left it in. It was like, no, we'll just give you the old school Hardys. He's still doing that too. It's like, that's not what people want, though.
In 19, you get Woken Matt Hardy.
Yeah, I'm sure you
do. And based on what you said earlier, Woken Matt Hardy will be retired by the end of 2019. So that's ridiculous.
Yeah,
cold blood. You guys are cold.
Not cold. Point out the facts. People don't like the facts, and go tune into fakenews.com because this is how it really is with 2K and with this game.
Yeah,
we can't sugarcoat it. We like the product. We like wrestling. We're wrestling fans. We like all this shit. We want this to work. It's a shame that they don't.
Yeah. Agreed.
It's unfortunate. But yeah. So that's all of the news. Yay. Tyson Austin getting his behind handed to him.
Oh yeah, so I mean I believe that pretty much is it for, because there was a lot of stuff to cover with the news. I did want to say we definitely will be giving our predictions for SummerSlam next week, and we will be joined by our very good friend Ricky, who was on the Brock Lesnar contract. So I look forward to him making his appearance next week. But yeah, we're going to definitely unpack all of our thoughts on SummerSlam at that time, because there's a lot to talk about with that too. But I want to see what develops this upcoming week on Raw and SmackDown. But any final shout outs that y'all want to give before we wrap up the show? I'm going to go to you first, Dana.
Shout out to Ronda Rousey for not sucking, still being good in the ring, and the WWE for actually booking her correctly.
Yeah. We'll see what happens with Ronda. But yeah, I must admit I do enjoy her in WWE, but the product is just very bad now. So improvements are needed. How about you, Adam? Any shout outs that you want to give?
Yeah, shout out to everybody that's listening and watching, and people at the Coalition and Throwdown and everybody there. But I think that the only thing that can really fix what's going on with WWE is just need more writing. You need more creative going on backstage. That's the bottom line. Even if they're like, oh, well, Vince has final say. Still, there's just too many people on that roster. You can't just have a handful of people writing for, what was it they said, 200 something wrestlers? Come on now.
220 wrestlers by that.
220. Come on. You just can't do it. Can't do it. You need a team of writers like for Seinfeld or something like that, where it's like, 10, 15 people all in a room spitting out ideas and just generating content because you have the talent. You have the talent.
I also would add that not only do you need that, but you also need to also give some of the wrestlers freedoms to contribute to these ideas. Because I know Batista has been very vocal in saying that there's too much control, which is why he doesn't want to come back.
Well, no, he wants to come back, but they won't pay him any attention, and it's not like he has anything to do now since he's leaving Guardians of the Galaxy.
Well,
he's not well, he doesn't want to do it anymore. He don't care.
He doesn't want to do it anymore because of that whole James Gunn thing. He's like, I'm gone.
Yeah, he don't like working for Disney.
He'll still be there. If they're going to use Gunn's script, he'll stick around.
Now he was the director. That was the ultimatum. He said, you bring him back as a director or I'm walking. Marvel was like, finger snap.
We'll kill you off and we'll bring another guy in, and that's it.
Well, we'll see what happens with that situation. Because,
that's it. They'll just say he'll find a bunch of other people that look like him, other people from his home world. They'll have him die and have the other guy fill his spot. There you go. Game over.
Boom.
We'll see.
That's it.
We'll see. But yeah, I want to give a shout out to all the Patreon supporters, all of the people that continue to check out our content. I want to give a shout out to the Throwdown because I was actually on Throwdown the other night. So shout out to everybody over there. Hope that you all have a great weekend, and we will talk to you all next week.
There you go.